The old house stood alone. It was at the edge of the village. The forest loomed behind it. The house was dark and silent. Its windows were like empty eyes. The villagers whispered about the house. They said it was cursed. People said that no one came out alive. They told stories of strange noises and shadows. The villagers avoided the house. They feared its darkness. The house was a reminder of the past. It was a place of secrets. The villagers knew its story. They knew its truth. The house was a portal to darkness. A stranger came to the village. His name was Jack. He was a traveller. He heard the stories about the house. Jack was curious. Jack was not afraid. He laughed at the villagers' warnings. He decided to see the house for himself. He wanted to know the truth. He wanted to see if the stories were real. The villagers begged him not to go. "Don't go near that house," they pleaded. "It's dangerous." But Jack didn't listen. He was determined to explore the house. He was not afraid of their warnings. He would face the darkness himself. The night was dark. A storm raged. Rain lashed down. The wind howled. Lightning flashed. Jack approached the house. He felt a chill run down his spine. The closer he got, the stronger the feeling grew. The house seemed to watch him. It seemed to be alive. He reached the front door. It was old and rotten. The handle was covered in dust. He took a deep breath and pushed the door open. The house welcomed him into its darkness. Jack stepped inside. The air was cold and damp. The smell of decay filled his nostrils. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling. Dust covered everything. The house was silent. Jack listened. The only sound was the beating of his heart. He took a step forward. The floorboards creaked beneath his feet. He felt a shiver down his spine. He walked slowly. Each step was hesitant. He felt like he was being watched. He ran his hand along the wall. The wallpaper was damp and mouldy. He came to a staircase. It creaked ominously. He started to climb. Jack reached the top of the stairs. He found himself in a long, dark hallway. There were several doors, and they were all closed. He tried the first door, but it was locked. He tried the next one, and it swung open with a groan. The room was small and dusty, with a single window casting a pale light. Jack stepped inside. There was a desk in the corner, and a book lay open on it. Jack walked over to the desk and picked up the book. It was a diary. The pages were old and yellowed, and the handwriting was faded. Section 6. Whispers in the Dark. Jack started to read. The diary was written by a man who had lived in the house many years ago. The man wrote about strange things. He wrote about whispers in the dark. He wrote about shadows moving. He wrote about a secret room. He wrote about a portal to another realm, a realm of darkness, a realm of eternal night. The man wrote about his fear. He wrote about his desire to escape. Jack turned the pages. He felt a cold shiver down his spine. He could hear whispers. He could see shadows dancing in the corners of his eyes. He felt a presence in the room with him, an evil presence. Section 7, the last page. Jack continued reading. He wanted to know more. He wanted to find the secret room. He wanted to see the portal. He wanted to know the truth. He turned to the last page of the diary. The man wrote about his decision to enter the portal. He wrote about his hope of finding a way to close it. He wrote about his fear of being trapped. The last sentence was cut off abruptly. It simply read, "The ritual is the key. I must stop it before it goes." The rest of the page was torn away. Jack closed the diary. He needed to find the rest of the diary. He needed to know what happened to the man. Section 8. Vanished. Suddenly, the candle on the desk flickered and went out. The room was plunged into darkness. Jack was surrounded by shadows. He could hear the whispers all around him. They were closer now. They were angry. Jack called out, but his voice was swallowed by the darkness. He felt something cold and clammy brush against his cheek. He stumbled back in terror. He turned and ran. He ran through the house, his heart pounding in his chest. He didn't know where he was going. He just needed to escape, but there was no escape. He was trapped. Section 9. The House Waits. The next morning, the villagers found the door to the old house wide open. They cautiously stepped inside. They searched the house, but they found no sign of Jack. He was gone. The villagers shook their heads and whispered. They knew what had happened. The house had claimed another victim. The curse was real. The old house stood alone at the edge of the village. It was silent and still, but inside the shadows danced. The whispers echoed. The house waited for its next victim. It would not be long. Someone would come, someone would be curious, someone would dare to enter, and the house would claim them too.